Hello beautiful people, how are we? Today I wanted to talk about makeup. It's been a hot minute since I've spoken about makeup and I love it. So I wanted to show you my top 5 makeup eyeshadow palettes that are grunge, smoky, emo-y, whatever you want to call it. Yes, I just invented a word. And I thought it'd be really fun to go through my top 5 picks for smoky eyes of like quality, color variety, and everyday accessibility in terms of, for me, for most people, for going out. So let's start with number 5 for this countdown. The first one I'm going to show you is this one. It's by Jeffree Star and it's called the Weirdo palette. These are the colors in here. Now this one gets props because of Scene Queen. This reddy color is absolutely something that reminds me of MySpace. And this black is really good. It doesn't have any fallout and it goes on quite pigmented. It gets bit minus points because it can be a bit difficult to blend, but otherwise it's really good. And this white is white. I mean, like, it's hard to get white to show up on my skin, but this is white, trust me. It's white on white. The thing is, this pink color up here, I'm not quite sure why it's in the palette. I can't say I've ever actually used that one, but these sort of colors are my favorite. My go-to is punk culture, this sort of dark grey, but you'll find in most of these palettes I always love a dark grey. So this is sitting at number 5. The next one is from a indie brand, which I really love the formulation of. I've never tried this brand before, this palette, and first impression of this brand is incredible. So this is the Blend Bunny Cosmetics palette. It's quite big. I'm trying to get my giant hand around it. I've got really large hands and I struggle to fit my hand around this. And it's the All Done Up palette. Now this might be a little bit different than what you're anticipating for an emo palette look, but these are the colors here. Basically there's a row of greys, greens, mustards, browns, and goldy colors. This goldy color reminds me a lot of like Sarah Hyland, like who's Hailey Dumpy from Modern Family, or Elena Gilbert from Vampire Diaries. This sort of gold color palette really reminds me of that sort of vibe, which I really like. But I'm really talking about the darker colors here. As you can see, the mess, that is more so what I gravitate toward, let's say. These shimmers are very impactful. They are in your face shimmers. These shimmers are not fooling around. They are full glitters. Like, they're not just shimmer. I shouldn't say that. They are full on glittery madness. Anytime I want something really done up, all done up, that sort of thing. Anytime I want something very glam goth sort of thing, I absolutely gravitate toward this palette. Basically, anytime I want to look like Mikey from Glam and Gore, I'll go for this palette. I absolutely love it and I feel like she'd really love it too, so like we could be bonded over this. But it's really beautiful. The formulation's incredible. They can actually, with these, they do take a while to build up and to get this true dark color, but they're so blendable because of it. So it depends on whether or not that's your thing, but otherwise this is a sensational palette and a lot more sort of friendly for your smoky eye variety. The next palette on the list is no surprise to anyone who clicked on this video because it's probably everyone's video, but it's the Natasha Dona Xenon Midi sized palette. I love the night sky packaging. I think that it is so beautiful and it's not too bad in terms of fingerprints or whatnot. The quality of these shadows is actually insane. It is nothing like I've ever really tried. It is something special. I'm not joking. They have really beautiful colors, but it gets points down for not having a matte black. I don't know what she was thinking, not having a matte black in a smoky eye palette. I mean, I generally use this shade here, which is Night Sky, and try to dust off. Sorry, not Night Sky. Sposh in the middle here. Sposh, which is the black that's like shimmery, but I try to dust it off as much as I can to use it, but honestly I just end up reaching to another palette for a black because it is criminal this doesn't have a black. Again, it's got a pink. I don't know why pinks are really in here, but I don't mind this pink because it's more of a muted, dusty sort of pink color, and I really love this whole color scheme so much. It is a bit one tone, so in terms of getting multiple different varieties of looks, you don't have it, which is why my next palette does top it, even though I did think about it for a really long time, because I did find it a bit tedious that every look can look very similar. With my case, I don't mind so much because I love wearing a nice emo-y smoky eye, but for the most part it is very much the same, and I always end up with a very similar look no matter what I do. But these blue greys in this palette, like Night Sky and especially Ebb up here, fill my heart with joy, and I absolutely love it. Palette number 2. We're getting exciting here. We're getting up to number 1. Number 1 you've probably never heard of. I'm just letting you know right now. But this is the Huda Beauty Pretty Grunge palette. I mean, like, it's pretty me. Pretty grunge, pretty me. This is the shade range here. I'm sure you've seen it before. I must say these cream shades I don't ever use. I mean, I have put them as a base before, but I find there's not too much discrepancy in the shades. I find they're pretty pigmented on their own. Strong AF is one of my favorite shades, along with Haphazard in terms of the shimmer sort of duochrome formula. I'm not the biggest fan of these marble prints. It can be a bit annoying to remember which colors are which. So oftentimes I'll accidentally put on Strong AF when I meant to put on Haphazard or vice versa, because they do look rather similar in the pan. Avant-Garde is one of my favorite shades. It's a dark, sort of dusty, muted toned brown, which I think is really beautiful. But really the winner for this, and why I love this, is because of the shade Nirvana. It's this beautiful bruised purpley shade right there, and basically because of the warm tones, because of the cool tones, you can get a lot more color variant for your eyeshadow look. When I use this palette, I feel like there's something different. The quality is nowhere near Natasha Dona, don't get me wrong, but in terms of the color selection, I think it's a lot more different and a lot more fun to wear, because I can always come up with something a little different. I really love to really blow these out and really just go with the I've just cried in my makeup sort of look. This is not for your nice one, unlike the other two, which I think are more proper and more, they look good when they're done well. I like this because it's messy, but that makes it very quick and accessible. Alright, number 1. Thank you so much for staying tuned, and believe me, it'll be worth the wait because this palette is my heart and soul. I use it most days. It's my everyday palette, even though it's a smoky palette, and it's from the most random brand. The brand's called, I think, Joocyee, Joocyee, and it's the limited edition new snow palette, I believe it's called. It looks like this, a little compact, and it's got graffiti all over it, which I think is really cool. It looks like something I would have a poster of in my room as a teen. And in terms of the compact, you've got a mirror, which is great, but these are the colors here. These colors fill my life with joy and love. I am obsessed. This white, again, proper white. I mean, I don't even have to try to build this up. It just goes on white. This dark shade here is amazing. It is like not too dark and not too light. I can really diffuse it, or I can make it really strong, and I absolutely adore it. This sort of color here, it's not a black, it's a very dark brown, but on the eyes it can appear pretty black. And I love how it's a bit softer, but it still gives that black vibe, because black can look pretty harsh on my particular skin color. This grey I use often on top of this one here. I absolutely love it. I love the pink in the middle, even though I'm not the biggest fan of pink. I think that like if this was a blue, like a lightish blue, it would be my dream palette, because every eyeshadow look I do, I end up thinking, why not add blue? Which is unfortunate because I do like to wear red lips. But I just want to have blue in my eye look all the time. And I have this issue, and like, that's the only thing. I generally always do a halo eye with this, so I use this on the inner and outer portion, this more sectioned on the inner and outer portion, that in the middle, this through the crease, and that again on the inner and outer portion, just to add a bit more glitter and pizzazz. And it's what the model does, which I'll throw in a photo just here. And when I saw this photo in particular, I went insane. I thought she was so beautiful and it looks amazing, and I just had to recreate it, and that's what made me buy this palette at like 3 AM, I'm not gonna lie. And it's compact, it's small, but again, it gives you quite a few shades for how small it is, and I absolutely love it. The only thing is like the white is quite big. I don't know how much white I actually use, but I don't mind because they're so beautiful. I'm absolutely a fan, and this as an inner corner highlight, this sort of pink color here, is just perfect, and it's just beautiful. And I've ordered another one of these palettes because they actually have a lot of different ones. I've ordered one that's called Wood Cement that's coming in the mail from Yes Style, because oh my gosh, I'm in love. I think this is the best formula, even better than Natasha Denona. It's a bit more powdery, but I like that because it's a bit easier to blend faster in the mornings when I'm tired. And I just think it is the most perfect palette in the whole entire world. And that concludes my top 5 smoky eyeshadow palettes. I hope you guys really enjoyed and get some inspo on your next night out, or maybe even trying during the day, because why not? It'd be fun. And I hope that you enjoy more videos like these, because I'd love to keep talking about makeup. I could talk about it forever. And thanks so much for watching. See you later.